in Liverpool. Their first single, Love Me Do, was becoming a big hit, and all the women were starting to scream like crazy and lose their minds. And so the Beatles were coming down to play on this show with a bunch of other acts. And Jane was invited to go and see them by a magazine and write a piece about the Beatles and about what all the fuss was about and so on. She was very happy to do that because, you know, she'd never seen them. Very few people had live at that point outside the north of England. And so they took her to see the show. She thought that the band was wonderful. She thought the music, insofar as you could tell above the screaming, was great. And she was taken backstage as the visiting celebrity at the end of the show to meet them all. She met them. She thought they were charming and witty and funny and all the things that we know now to be true. And she liked them very much. They liked her very much. One of them liked her in particular and asked her out and so on. And that, as you probably know, was Paul McCartney. And that's how they ended up going out together for quite a number of years. And one of the effects of that was that Paul was hanging around our house a lot. You know, he would come to dinner, he would hang out, you know, he would bring his laundry for my mum to do it and so on. And it's true. You know, all the kind of things that boyfriends will do if they get the chance. And so there he was, and eventually he was at our house so much. I mean, the Beatles did have a flat of their own in London, they just got, but it was a small flat for just 4 guys, so of course it was chaos. And so Paul actually, I think, preferred, quite apart from being crazy about my sister, correctly so, but I think he liked hanging out at our house. It was kind of more organized. So our parents offered him the guest room on the top floor of our house as a sort of pied-à-terre when he was in London, which is the room next to my bedroom on the top floor. And he accepted and he moved in. And so he lived with us for about 2 years. And during that time, of course, we inevitably got to know each other, sharing the floor at the top of the house. And I also, during that time, got to hear some songs. Not as they were being written, of course. That's generally a solitary process, or at least with your co-writer. But after they were written, I got to hear some. And I heard this song called A World Without Love. And I told Paul that I liked it. And he explained at the time that it was an unfinished song, sort of a reject song, actually, because John didn't think much of it. We know now that John would actually, when Paul would try and sort of sell him the song and sing a bit of World Without Love, John would poo-poo it. And in fact, he thought the first line of lyrics was ridiculous. When Paul would sing, "Please lock me away," John would go, "Okay, I will lock you away. The song's over." So clearly, the Beatles weren't going to record it, and nobody else was. So when Norman Newell said, "Do you know any other good songs?" that's what I was thinking of. So that night, when Paul got home from a gig, I said to him, "Did anything ever happen with World Without Love? Did you finish it? Did you get anyone to do it? What's going on?" He said, "No, it's, you know, nothing's happened. It's unfinished." So I said, "Well, we've got a record deal now. Would it be okay if Gordon and I tried working out a harmony version of it, you know, in our duet style?" And he said, "No, that's fine. You know, you can have it." And so he said, "You know, I'll teach it to you," and so on. So to teach it to us and make sure we got it right, he first of all wrote out the lyrics for me and the chords. And this is the piece of paper. You better believe the original of this document is safely locked away in my home in Malibu in a fireproof safe, so that when everything goes completely to shit, I can run to Sotheby's as fast as my legs can carry me and cash in. It always gets a big laugh, but of course it's kind of true. But it hasn't happened yet, but you never know. Of course, I might not tell you if it had happened. But anyway, no, it's still in the safe. And he did that, and then to make sure we got the melody right, of as much as he'd written, which was the one verse, he made a little demo. Both Paul and I had reel-to-reel tape recorders in our bedrooms, and we used to play with, you know, plugging them into each other and overdubbing and stuff like that. But in this instance, Paul sat down in front of that tape machine there and recorded a little demo of World Without Love. And I thought you might be interested to hear that, to hear how the song had begun its life as soon as Paul wrote it. So here is that. as it was written. But of course there was a snag, which is that's all there was. But so I did have to prevail upon him as the session drew near to, I said, please, Paul, it really needs a bridge. And eventually he took a guitar and went into his bedroom for an infuriatingly short, like 8 minutes or something. I'm not joking, that's real. And came out with the, so I wait and in a while I will see my true love smile, the beautiful bridge. Gave us the bridge, wrote out the lyrics to the bridge for us. And we were ready to go. Went on the list for our very first session. The day of the session rolled around, I was nervous and thrilled. And it was exciting, it was brilliant. I mean, I loved singing with Gordon anyway, but singing, in a real studio on real microphones and hearing yourself back, I thought it was fantastic. I enjoyed it from the performer point of view, but I also loved the process. Once I understood what a record